Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all well. Today I have this lovely little demon priestess for you. She ended up being very Observer from Fringe meets Sith meets Daywalker from Penny Dreadful. Again, this is one of my Halloween videos I'm doing this year in collaboration with Mehron. So if you are interested in any of the products I used in this video, then there will be a link to where you can buy them listed down below. So I've already applied a bald cap and I ripped it. So one side is fine, it's a little lumpy, but my costume covered that because I had a hood, so it wasn't a problem. But this side is a mess. I had to Frankenstein the crap out of it. Next, I'm blocking out my brows with a glue stick. I'm just going to run against the hair first and then brush them up with a spoolie, then flatten them with another layer of glue. I'm going to let that dry and then add a couple more layers over top. You can also scrape off a bit of glue from the glue stick and then apply a final thicker layer with a little spatula, which I didn't do and probably should have because you can see a little bit of texture through. Whenever I do this, people always ask if it pulls your brow hairs out, and the answer should be no. Once it gets wet, it just goes goopy and comes right off. Just make sure you're using a glue stick and not like liquid glue or super glue or something. Make sure it's a glue stick, like a kid's school glue stick. Next, I'm applying a layer of pros-aide over my brows and my forehead as well. You could use liquid latex instead, which is a bit more accessible and cheaper, I believe, and in this case it's not going to affect any of the rest of the steps that we're going to do. One thing I wish I'd done is taken one of those little textured orange sponges and taken it back onto the bald cap, just so that the transition between the texture of the bald cap and my skin wasn't quite as obvious. After setting all of that with a Colorset powder, I'm going to go over the bald cap with Clown White. This was my first time using this product and I've heard very good things about it, so I didn't do anything to hide the colour of my hair or my eyebrows because I just wanted to see what the product could do. I now understand why so many people use it and recommend it. The coverage is fantastic. Since I had a hood to wear, I didn't bother too much with the back of my head and you can see a bit of the hair colour peeking through, but I think if I'd done even just one more layer, the hair colour wouldn't have shown through, like at all. So since she's a demon priestess or a satanic priestess, whatever you want to call her, here I'm drawing the sigil of Lucifer or the seal of Satan on the forehead with a red liner, which isn't something I ever thought I would say, to be honest. You want to paint your forehead first, by the way, with the white. I'm not sure why I didn't. It was very late, I was very tired. I spent most of my evening applying that freaking bald cap. To turn this into a cut with some depth to it, I'm going to use rigid Collodion, which I've used a few times on this channel before. I really like it. As it dries, it shrinks and it pulls the skin tight, and if you do a bunch of layers, it can make a really nice dent into the skin. It's going to look best in fleshy areas where there's more skin to indent, so the forehead isn't as effective as like the cheek, for example, but I still got a nice amount of depth there. I think I did maybe like 10 layers. Please be very careful if you use this stuff because you would not want to get this in your eyes. I can't even imagine what that would do to your eyeball, but I can imagine that it wouldn't feel very good, so please exercise caution. Remove any excess product from the brush before you hold it up to your skin so it doesn't accidentally drip down. And make sure you don't apply it over hair because you can't dissolve this product off, you have to peel it. The reason I apply the pros-aide across the whole forehead first is because I find it's just easier to remove the rigid Collodion if there's a barrier between your skin and the product. But if you do apply it straight onto your skin, Spirit Gum Remover is going to be your skin's best friend when it comes to removing it. Next, I'm using a white water activated paint on my face because it's a little bit more comfortable to wear. It's not as thick as cream or grease paint or whatever. Moving on to the eyes, I'm mixing a red and a white cream stick together to make pink, and I'm applying this on the inner corner, underneath the eye, and winging it out slightly at the edge. Then I'm just going to go over that with a similar coloured eyeshadow to set it in place. Then I'm applying a white eyeshadow in the centre of the lid. You'd probably want to wear a primer here too, but as always I'm just filming and then washing it off straight away and then getting in bed, so I don't need to bother, but you totally can if you wanted to wear this and make it last. So I still wanted an element of beauty in this look, so I did opt for some liner and some false lashes. I used a liquid liner first to get tight into that inner corner and down into the lashes. Then I added a kohl pencil on the outside portion of my lid and I smudged that out a little with a little smudge brush because I wanted the line to be soft and hazy. Then I set that in place with a black eyeshadow and pulled it out into a soft wing. On the bottom waterline, I'm using a red liner, first because I'll take any excuse to wear red liner, I love it. Second, because we're going to add the bloody tears later on and it's going to help it look like it's coming out of the eye more and not just sat underneath it. I also lined the upper waterline with black liner to get rid of any fleshy tones peeking through the eyelashes. Obviously you can wear whatever kind of lashes you want. I'm wearing the ones that I wore in my vampire skull video, but this time I've cut them down to 3/4 lashes to give the eyes more of a pulled out, elongated look. Underneath the eye, I'm going to run a black shadow all the way across underneath and blend it out. Not really necessary because I'm going to cover it in blood in a second anyway. Then I'm adding a little bit of a highlight in this inner corner area just to break up that flat pink shade, and it gives a really nice shape to the eye actually. I wanted to keep the skin very simple, so I just added a tiny little bit of black underneath the cheekbone and then blended that in with the white to make a grey shadow. For the lips, I'm adding a little bit of smudging in the corners with the same mix of the red and the white cream sticks from before, and I'm just adding a red lipstick. I'm not doing anything crazy here, no like special shapes or anything. On the neck, I wanted her to have a bunch of scars. Maybe this is what happens when you're branded by the sigil of Lucifer and become one of his priests. Maybe it appears on your skin like, you know, in Harry Potter when he uses the black quill and the text comes up on his hand. Or maybe when she reads her rituals, they're branded into her skin to show her devotion. Obviously, I am not well versed in such things, so I just winged it, I made it up. I wrote a bunch of nonsense and shapes and just hoped it would pass. Then I decided to make these scars raised instead of indented like the one on the forehead. I pulled up some liquid latex with a syringe and then just went over all of the outlines. If you don't happen to have a random syringe lying around the house like I do, you can also apply it easily with a cotton bud. You can use the bottom of a brush, a spatula, disposable paintbrushes, a toothpick, pencil. Next, I'm going to go over all of the scars with the same pink colour that I applied on the eyes and the lips. It's not really a natural scar colour, it's a bit too baby pink for that, but we're also a demon, and we're also stark white, so realism, yeah, you can get away with a few things. I just always like having a common colour going through a look because I think it pulls it all together. So finally I'm adding the tears, and I watered the paint down so it could easily drip down by itself and give us that organic kind of tear streak shape. Then to make up for the fact that we'd use a watered down colour, I just bumped up the intensity in the middle without altering the shape. For some reason I don't have any footage of me doing this, but I did run a little bit of Vaseline over the tears once they dried. This will be fine for a temporary thing for photos and stuff, but if you're going to wear this out, I probably wouldn't recommend putting it directly underneath your eyes. It's going to disrupt the product when you blink and stuff, so if you wanted to add a little bit of shine, I'd add it down the cheeks and at the bottom of the tears instead. Then, I think that's it. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video and you liked this look, I guess. I know it's a weird one. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in a couple of days.